Something called the Danish twin study established that only about 10% of how long the average person lives within certain biological limits is dictated by our genes. The other 90% or so is dictated by our lifestyle and our environment. So the premise of the blue zones, and hence this talk, is if you can optimize your lifestyle and environment, you have a de facto formula for longevity. You also, as it turns out, have an antidote for about the $1.3 trillion we spend a year on chronic disease. But where do you find such a formula? Well, we started where most people start, by looking at academic institutions and reading papers. But you find that every once in a while, those papers refute themselves. Remember about 15 years ago, doctors were telling menopausal women to take hormones. Well, as it turns out, 10 years later, women who took this hormone therapy have much higher rates of breast cancer, and the type of breast cancer they get is much worse. And remember about 5 years ago, vitamin E was the great panacea. You saw it in pills, and you saw it in Cheerios, and you saw it in power drinks. It was supposed to be good for your heart and your skin and to prevent cancer. Well, as it turns out, now we discover that people who take vitamin E are actually more likely to die in any given year than people who don't. So instead of looking at universities, we took a meta-analysis. I teamed up with the National Institutes on Aging and with National Geographic to spend 3 years to find the geographically defined, demographically confirmed areas in the world where people live measurably longer. These are places where people have been doing the same thing, not for decades or years, but for centuries and even millennia.